I thought this image would be a great one to do a tutorial on. And there's lots of reasons that I like it. It's just so simple, so it's really great for beginners. And, there's a lot of questions here. I mean, Anne has asked, I need this help. I have this image and I need it for a left chest logo. I'm having a brain fart. Do I size it to 4" by 4"? If so, what is the image actual size? And so, this is a question being asked on Facebook. And, the image has been posted to Facebook. And there's just so much to discuss on this one subject. I mean, I know that sounds a little nuts, but, I could talk about this probably for an hour. Hopefully I won't make the video that long. But let's get started talking about what size this image is. So I'm going to download it from Facebook, okay? And right off the bat, we're going to learn something, that's critical. If an image is posted on Facebook, it's going to immediately have a white background no matter what. So no matter what, the image is going to have a white background. So I've just downloaded it, and we can look at it and see that it's got a white background. So it's a little off-centered even on this white background. And the other problem that I see with the image, of course, is this white space. Whether it's clear or white or whatever color, black, I always call this white space. It's just wasted, unused space from the side of the drawing to the side of the image. So whatever dimensions we come up with on this, we're going to find out that it's wrong, because it needs to be trimmed. So we can see just by opening this in Windows, it's 2048 by 1365. There's a lot of other ways to get that. So if you're open in Windows and you have your details pane open, you can see 2048 by 1365. You can also right click and look for properties, which is not that easy these days. You have to click show more options and then properties and then details. And there it is, 2048 by 1365. If you're on a phone and you're on an iPhone, there's usually a little I information symbol you can click on. Okay, so the image also probably has been compressed by Facebook, so it's probably been shrunk. If you did have it big, if it was bigger than that before you sent it to me, well, it's going to be smaller now because Facebook has a max size that they're going to allow to store on their image servers. But there's yet another problem that I see with this image, and it's that this nail that's put through here, this image has been cut in on, and the nail's not straight. See, the P is overlapping the nail, and it's not straight. It doesn't go straight down, and the nail itself is not filled out. So, to fix this image, we've got a lot of work to do. So let's get started. I think one of the most frustrating things about graphic design is that there really isn't a correct way to do anything. You could talk to multiple designers and have them say multiple different ways, to accomplish the same goal. And these days we also have the help of AI. There's just a lot of different ways we could approach this. One thing we could do is we could start just making the shapes. So we could, take our shape tool, and we could literally just start drawing out the shapes. This is such a simple design. This might actually be the best thing possible to do. Might also end up fighting it and not be able to achieve that exact curve that we want. So that's just kind of, this is one option that I wanted to show off. So we can recreate this design and get it close enough. Simply by drawing shapes. That is definitely an option that will work, and it will be superior to, what we had. Let's make this a bright color so that we can, I'm confirming the transform. Let's make this a bright color so we can see. Yeah, so see, it's not a perfect match to that circle. And we could fix that quite easily by, just, placing points here. But I mean, when you're looking for extreme perfection, it'd be better to find that font. But we could place more points around this path and stretch this out to make it an exact match. It's probably acceptable, and nobody's human eyes are going to see the difference. If we just literally fudged it a little bit. So, that's what I'm going to do. Let's make this one like a bright green. So we can see its shape. So this is the non-cheater way. This is the very hard, being precise way, and let's just get it as close as we can with the normal circle, the normal ellipse. And then what we'll do is we'll take these two ellipses and we'll align them perfectly so that they're perfect. Okay, so now I've got my two ellipses, and I'm just going to take this one. So I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to turn that layer off, and select this layer, and then paste it. So now I have got on the same layer, both shapes. Looks like I've got two copies, so I'll just delete one. I don't think that was a problem. All right, so I'm just going to select this one, and then I'm going to do subtract front shape. So now I've got my O of my LPC. All right, so how can we get these other shapes? So now what we can do is we can just grab our pen tool, and we can just click in this corner, and click in this corner. If you want to be super precise, get on in there. I'm going to set a ruler right on that dot. I'm going to click down here at the apex. I'll click right here. Now if I hold shift and click, that's going to draw a straight line. Oops. And I'm just going to keep making the shape. So we're going to go around this part. Click and drag. I'm going to try coming all the way out here and hold shift and click and drag. And then I'm going to drag a ruler to sit right on my dot, and then shift and drag. And then connect. And I'm actually going to grab this side of that path, of that node, and break it. So I think in Photoshop you have to use your convert point tool for that. So that might be under the pen tool, convert point. Yep, it's good enough for me. Now I'm going to lower the opacity so that I can see through it. And I'm just going to do the same around here. I'll scoot my ruler over to that line just because that kind of stuff helps me. And nice to drag a ruler down and try to find the middle of this. So I'm clicking and then I'm using shift. I'm going to skip that just a bit. That worked out great. Okay, and then I'm going to do the C. So now I'm going to get organized. This is my O. This is my C. This is my P. And I'm going to change all of them to 100%. And then I'm going to group them, and I'm going to call it OPC. And then I'll turn them off, and I'm going to select this background color. So let's just, that background, let's select that text color. And I'll turn it on, and I'll do blending options, color overlay, and I'm just going to select that color. Okay, great. So now I've got paths for those. And so now I'm just going to do the nail the same way. Okay, so I've drawn over my nail, and again, I'm just going to change the opacity, hide it, I'll pull that color in. See, I used all these rulers to kind of keep myself organized there. And then I'll just double click that shape and then click that color. And now I have my OPC. And since they're shapes, they're perfect. So whatever size that I want to use this at, I certainly can. Now, to imitate the original, I need the nail to go behind the C. It's going in front of the O, behind the P, and in front of the C. So I'm just going to call this nail. And I'm going to put it inside the OPC group. That's what I just decided. And I'm just going to put the nail behind the P. And I'll put the C above. Nope. I need the O in the C below the nail. Alright. And then I'm going to have to copy this layer style. Actually, let's just clear it. Let's just change these to the real colors. So we'll turn this off and we'll grab that color again just so I have it easy to access. And then we're just going to change these shapes actually to the color. And stop using that color overlay on the whole group. I'm just double clicking on each one of those layers. Okay, and there is our version of OPC with just a slight little wobble. It's pretty clean. Now let's continue our discussion about image size. So if we trim this now, image trim, transparent pixels, and we go and look at image size, here's the actual size. We'll turn off resample. We'll set this to 300, and we see that it's 1653 by 921 when it was trimmed. So we base this off of the image that I received. So that's approximately the size that it is. It's 5.51 inches, and its height is 3.07. Now, I can make this any size because I've just used shapes. There's no pixels here. So I can set this to any size. I'm going to set it to 15. I'm going to turn on resample. I'll set this to 300. And I'll set that back to 15. So now I'm at 4,500 pixels by 2507. And when I do that, I can hit Control 1 to zoom to exact. That's pixel to pixel. And I can look at the sharpness of these edges. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's absolutely trimmed. It's exactly 15 inches because it's 4,500 px. And the math there is just 4,500 divided by 300 equals 15. All right. Hey, I hope this helps. I know that I can think of a dozen other ways we could have accomplished the same task, but this is the way we accomplished it this time. And I appreciate you guys learning and watching with me. Take care.